gospel recording artist, Vicki. She was once involved in a romantic relationship with the now incarcerated apostle David E. Taylor from the Kingdom of God Global Church. Recently, she sat down for an interview with 10 Tampa Bay. So let me bring you this interview now and listen to her story as she speaks it from the heart. Tyrone Bowman, live. And she probably isn't the only one within the world of Christendom that's involved in secret clandestine relationships. Maybe her story will help you.
Right with us. And I know it's not going to be easy. Thank you for talking to us today. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And I know it's not going to be easy. So, it's going to be hard. It's already making you emotional.
It is.
Why?
Because when I spoke out against this monster, I had so many people saying, you're just a woman scorn. He cheated on you. You got names of a couple women. But I knew it was more than that. And I got criticized. Just people just thought I was crazy. But I knew this man was a wicked man. And I spoke out. And when I went on social media, I never got caught, because as a Christian recording artist, you shouldn't be doing what I did with this man.
Yeah.
I didn't get caught in anything. God spoke to me and says, Vicki, you need to confess to the world. You're a gospel recording artist. You're with this man. He has convinced you that you are in a okay relationship because he's best friends with Jesus. And he's immune from all of that, and you're going to be okay. He said, God just really kept, and I would say stuff to David. David, this ain't right. He said, it's okay. I'm best friends with Jesus. But being a preacher's kid, I knew it was wrong. And so I spoke out, and it's actually still on the internet. It was about 20 minutes, and I just told everybody what was going on. Within 3 weeks, I stopped counting at 100 women that told me that they were in a relationship with David. Many of them said they were his wife. They said that he said to keep it just between them because church people are messy. That's what he told me. Church people are messy, Vicki, and I'm going to marry you one of these days, but just don't tell anybody. And so all these women are out there thinking that this man is going to be the one that they're going to marry. Loves them. There was times he would text me, and he would just say, hey, what's going on, baby, or whatever. And I would respond, but he wouldn't say nothing back. And then the next day he'd get, And so one time I remember saying, David, we're supposed to get married at some point. We haven't talked in 3 weeks. He said, he finally would call me. He said, I don't know about us. He said, you just seem very unstable.
Instead of using multiple agencies,
And I said, well, maybe you're right. You're so busy doing. And he would just say, hey, what's going on, baby, or whatever. And I would respond, but he wouldn't say nothing back. And then the next day he'd get, And so one time I remember saying, David, we're supposed to get married at some point. We haven't talked in 3 weeks. He said, he finally would call me. He said, I don't know about us. He said, you just seem very unstable. And I said, well, maybe you're right. You're so busy doing the things of God, and you're traveling, and I'm sorry that I guess I was asking too much, so that I'm back out again, And so But I had a lady even today, he moved her from Maryland and moved her a few blocks from his home in St. Louis. And she said, when I saw you come out and say what you said, the first 3 words, I knew you were speaking the truth. Because everything you said about him, he did it with me. And so that's why the women believed me. The women believed me.
The Department of Justice says David Taylor and Michelle Brandon are facing charges of human exploitation, financial crimes, including forced labor and money laundering, and that they did not permit people who were working for their call center victims to leave the house without permission, demanded that his armor bearers transport women from ministry houses, airports, and other locations to Taylor's location, and ensured the women transported to Taylor took Plan B emergency contraceptives. Does any of this surprise you?
Oh, no. Not at all. But for me, I was a little bit different. I'm not, because I was the gospel singer that he had me come and sing. I was never around all of a sudden talking about working 50 hours and not feeding them. He kept me from all of that. I flew in Sam's events. He would come to Louisiana, New Orleans. We'd meet up in New Orleans. But when I came out with my story, then everybody else said, well, listen, I'm the one that got the EBT cards when everybody got them the first of the month, and they all had to give them to me, and I would go to the grocery store, and that food would be gone, and we'd have to wait till, he said, and so other stories started coming out.
After you spoke out. So these allegations don't surprise you because you've heard of these from other
Because
members.
I've heard, because way back when, I had so many people call me and say, we've been praying for you. But see, people reached out to me, even my family and people that, they said, Vicki, there's something not right with him. And I would say, David, everybody says there's something not right. And he says, Vicki, but when you're at my level, you're going to get persecution. And he said, you got to stand with me. And there's different things that he would say. He sent me a YouTube video. And he said, I want you to check this out. And he said, it was a video of him at an apartment that he had in Detroit. Just not fancy at all. Yeah. And he's standing there and he's showing people his apartment. And he said, I only make $49,000 a year. He said, he said, this is where I stay. And so I called him, or he called me. He said, what'd you think? I said, David, that's deceptive. I said, you have 2 Bentleys, a Rolls Royce. You have those big houses in St. Louis. He said, then he said, after that, he goes, well, you just need to go with my flow. Your mind is not right. And he just totally discredited what I said. Why did you even ask me my opinion? So a lot of things like that was a red flag. And I had many red flags during this 16-month relationship, many. But I ignored a lot of them.
One of the red flags, according to what I saw in your book, I guess, was when you first were involved with the church, that first time you came to guest sing when the worship went till, I think you said 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And is that where the first time maybe you looked to see at the cult likeness of this church, because they have these super long worship?
At that time, I just thought, wow, they really love God. That early on, I didn't really even think it was a cult. But that night at 3:30 in the morning, we took a picture together. And he sent me, so about midnight, no, not midnight, because that was 3:30, about 5 in the morning, he messaged me. He said, send me that picture. And I said, okay, and I sent him, and he came back and he said, OMG, you're beautiful. Now, I was divorced, and my ex-husband, he would say I was pretty, cute, but every woman wants to hear that word, beautiful. And so I said, Lord, the next time you send somebody into my life, please let them use the word beautiful. When I got that text, I said, here he is. And so that was the beginning of my really downfall with that, because I just thought that God, he said, OMG, you're beautiful.
And that did it. He, like you said, he knew what to say
Yeah.
and
I
how.
wasn't even attracted to him. I mean, you've seen him.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's the craziest thing, because the longer I would come to his meetings, I would say, David, these women here are so beautiful. I mean, beautiful women.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, they are. They got nice looking women here. But found out that he slept with all of his spiritual daughters.
Oh my
I
God.
wasn't the only one.
And it sounds like too in the documents that he's charged with, that's mentioned that he made them take a lot of the women transported to him take Plan B
Absolutely.
contraceptives. He ever make you?
No.
No.
We didn't. We weren't together because I didn't live there, so
You weren't there,
I
though.
wasn't there. He had a house in Detroit of about maybe 18 women, and I'm sure 99% of them was with him.
How would you describe your relationship with Mr. Taylor?
This company is going viral for its new process that gives you permanent.
Now, some of you who are perusing through, you may think that her story is fabricated and that there's no truth to it. You'd be surprised what goes on in the church world. That's all I'm going to say for now.
I thought I was in love with him, but when I look back at it, he really just used me because I have like 1.2 million on my Facebook page, my platform. He would have me promote his book. If I didn't promote his book every day, it was like the end of the world. He wanted me to interview people that saw Jesus. So when I look back on it, he used me for my platform. He did not love me. He did not, because it was all about what I can do for him. He kept me busy just, promoting his book, and as far as, I look back at it, I just cannot believe that I got caught up in it. I just can't believe I'm smarter than that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm smarter than that. And the guy is nothing to look at. I'm not trying to be mean, but I mean, I'm just saying,
You
I
know
like
what?
good looking,
She's going all in tonight.
men, that's one thing, that's the first thing you see. But that's not what attracted me at first. It was what he said to me. He's got a way, I know it's demonic. I know it's manipulative. I mean, some of these women, his main thing, and I think it's in the book,
Yeah.
getting the women is Facebook. He would message them and say they have a Catherine Kuhlman anointing. If you know who that was, she was a powerful woman of God that would pray for people, they'd be healed. People say, oh wow, you got a powerful, you remind me of Catherine Kuhlman. And then he would say, I was going through Facebook and God told me you're to be my wife. So he has a team of Michelle, Daniel, man, his name is Daniel's the one that set up all these things. They would go on Facebook and they would find affluent women with money, women that, not married too, because he's broke up many, many marriages. Oh, you won't even believe the stories.
There was one video that Michelle posted that said if you have a nickel and you're going to be homeless if you give up that nickel, to still give that nickel up to
Oh yeah, it's
the church.
Anything that if you have a savings account, I gave a lot of money.
Yeah.
I regret it, but I gave a lot of money. He said when I exposed him that they asked him why. He said he kicked me out, which that wasn't true. He said, well, she's on drugs. She could be part of which if I've been on drugs, everybody would have known it. Why did, I'm in the
So
public
you
eye.
just walked away.
I just got on social media and I told my story. He got on social media the next night and then he said, they said, well, she bought her a Jaguar. He paid $20,000 for that Jaguar, paid down, and he paid the notes for it. Yeah, but he didn't pay it out full. And what he said, he told everybody, he said, well, she came to our ministry, she was broke. Not true. And she didn't have a car. My car was paid off. But he knew I had a Jaguar in the past that I had wrecked, and he knew I love a Jaguar. So one day he just said, if you can get to Atlanta, I'm going to get you a Jaguar, And so then he started making up all these stories. And then Michelle says, one time I picked Vicki up from the airport, and she wanted barbecue chicken. So I went and got a barbecue chicken. Instead of using a napkin, she put the barbecue on top of the roof of my car. And everybody was laughing in the comments because if you know me, that's one thing when I go to churches, don't give me barbecue. I hate barbecue. And so everybody was laughing because they're like, she's lying because we know about you, you know. So what they're trying to do is discredit me. They couldn't come. They were just saying stuff. I didn't watch it, but other people told me about it because once I did the video and I broke down and shared my story, I didn't want to hear his voice anymore. I was done.
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, my time has expired for tonight. I'm going to have to make this a two-part video, and I'll bring you part 2 on tomorrow evening. But for now, thank you all for watching. Never surrender. Never quit.